Hello everyone, today I have something cool to show you. This Nikon pretty machine. It's an L35AF2 and the customer complains about it being difficult to operate. It only shoots when it wants to, is having some trouble with the mechanisms. Sometimes the flash turns on. The machine is a bit crazy. It's stuck somewhere inside here and says that is on the 36th picture. So yeah, I think we need to take this camera apart and see whatever's going on with the mechanisms inside. So I will pop up a test film that I usually use when I'm testing cameras, and some batteries, and let's see what it does. Let's open up the bottom plate. So batteries inside. Let's pop new film. Let's see if this one does anything. Nope, no signs of life. Is it some kind of whoops? It did a noise and a red light turned on. It shot the picture, but now the shooter is hard and is not moving. So what's going on in here? I think we need to, whoops, it moved something. Yeah, we need to keep wiggling it around in order to see some activity. So I think there's a lot of stuck stuff on this machine. It's a really nice looking machine. It has a really nice leather case. So I think it's really worth to fix. Let's start disassembling it. Beware that cameras that have a flash, they have a big capacitor inside, and flash capacitors can give you a big shock. So always be careful when opening cameras. Let's do it. Well, that was easy. So here's the capacitor that we need to be careful with. Here's the viewfinder. If we want, we can clean it. Just need to check. Oops. Was there something loose inside? Because this part just came off. Yep. Small parts started to fall off the machine. So I'm using the machine as it's in its on state. So now the red light is on, the flash should shoot. Yep, it made the autofocus, shot, the film mechanism pulled on. Yep, again. but yeah, it shot, but it's not pulling. There are lots of mechanical actions inside here, and I need to find out where these parts are from, because that can lead us to the solution of the problem. But now it's working a little bit more consistently. Is there anything else to fall from it? I pull the film back, there's nothing happening. I'm trying to test if there's something related to this warping of the film door, because it's very warped. It might fail to press some switch, some button, I don't know. Everything is welcome. Is there anything jamming? Because when I opened up the film door, it started moving, so ooh. It's almost working, but I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I just know that I'm being able to take more and more shots. Okay, so the machine might only allow me to shoot when the flash is ready, and the flash is only ready when this light is on, but it takes, yeah, look at this, the light is still off and it doesn't let me shoot. As soon as the light is on, it lets me shoot, and sometimes the film is pulled right away. So I'm just hearing, and it shoots and pulls. Let's wait for the light. Shoot and pull. Yeah, I fixed it just by wiggling it. It might be. Yeah, I think the autofocus function is not working properly because this is too close to the table, because it's saying that is a landscape picture, and of course it isn't. And now something jammed. Oops, okay. Now there was something jamming and the flash was not working. Yeah. It takes a lot of time to move on, and that's our main problem in here, because the flash and the shooting mechanism, they seem to work perfectly fine, but the communication with the film advance is not working properly. So let's see if the losing of these small components has something to do with it. I'm watching this small part and it has a very shiny side, and yeah, we'll need to investigate if this has something to do with the failures. Touching the counter wheel does nothing. Nothing with these circuit boards. There's no corrosion, no damage from leakages. No, I don't see anything else. Let's blind ourselves. Let's stop taking pictures. We will disassemble the rest and try to find if there's any bad contacts or something to improve that communication between the shutter and the motor that pulls the film. Let's do it. Yep, and now it comes right off. Let's be careful. Because the battery compartment door comes right off. And I'm a bit scared if I touch something related to the capacitor. Yeah, the main problem was passing these parts through this strap. So here it is, the front of our photographic machine. Yeah, nice mechanism. Very small LED. Everything looks pretty much clean. There were some small plastic parts that fell off also. So more plastic bits are coming out. This is the very satisfying mechanism of the lens cover. I can never get tired of that. Here is our shutter button. And looking at the contacts here, everything looks clean. The lens looks beautiful. There's a lot of mechanisms. This is the light sensor. There's some little specks of dust or dirt on the contacts. It just looks generally perfect. On the underside, there's the flashing circuit, I think. And then we have here the rewinding mechanism. And I think this has something to do with a motor that pulls the film. So it might be something related to these contacts. Let me put the contact cleaner on a Q-tip and try to use it like that without spraying around the machine. Very nice mechanism. There's a loose mechanism around here. Yeah, and this is the mechanism to make the motor rewind. I think we need to check on this. We need to focus on this mechanism to see if now opening the case will release it. Yes, it will. And well, let's see if this thing works. So I'm going to remove the strap to make it easier to work on it. After just doing a simple contact cleaning for the main contacts that are showing, I'm going to pop in the front case and the batteries back in to see if there's any change. Because to turn the machine on, I believe you need to have this making contact with these two here next to the main objective. So let's try to pop it in. This machine is starting to become a pain in the ass because I can't find anything that goes terribly wrong. Let's try to investigate this shutter button mechanism and the power on off. I think I'll wear some gloves to avoid potentially touching some components connected to the flash. As you can see, when the machine is being turned on, these 2 points make contact and they are connected to these 2 points. So I'll make a bridge between them to make the machine think it's always on, and for us to operate the mechanism with the machine opened. Yep, they are bridged. Multimeter in continuity. So machine is on. Let's check with the batteries. It's alive. But holding these to the batteries and trying to make tests at the same time is not easy. So we need to go around and see if we can make direct connection to the battery terminals to make further testing, even if it involves pulling the big capacitor up. Or at least I can see the metal plates and the wires where the power is being pulled on from, and I can try to find alternative points to power the machine. And after some searching, I found a positive point here on this board. So this is connected to battery positive, this is battery negative, and I think we will have a success powering it on. So let's try it and see how it goes. I have 0.2 amps, 0.16 amps, 15. Let me see if I have. Yep, I do have activity. Flash is on and it shooted. Now we are waiting for the mechanism to move and for the flash to charge. It's orange. We press it. It got ready. Now the LED will start flashing. Let me see if... Yeah. This part works perfectly fine. The part that's not working perfectly fine, it's the next phase, that is pulling the film forward. This is what we need to check. When we do it manually, the machine works perfectly. It's only timed because we don't have the case in front, but yeah. Let's investigate this mechanism. So yeah, that's it. So I will disconnect the bench power supply and see what is actuating this mechanism. And with the cover opened, it works. You shoot. It takes the timer. So at least we know that the machine can work perfectly because we shoot. It will end the timer. Yeah, and as you can see, it's working. So what's killing it? It's closing the lid. This wheel is not counting properly and it is not well positioned. So we might have to take apart this top piece to correct everything in here. And maybe we can find a solution. We know that with the cover open, the whole electrical system is working perfectly, but when it's closed, it doesn't work. So like this, we make it shoot. it times off, and it works perfectly. Yep. So there's nothing wrong with the timing, there's just something wrong with the way this door closes and neutralizes the mechanism. So let's investigate this problem. And I've pulled this spring with this white wheel in here, and this whole mechanism got back to 1. It took a very fast spin and it got back. So I think that this metal spring that was clearing the numbers when opening the machine is not working, but at least now we have it on 0. Let's try to shoot and see what it does. It will now shoot. It does nothing. But if we open up, whoops. Look who's counting. Yep. Our problem lies in here on these contacts and in the way this mechanism interacts between the lower part of the machine and the upper part of the machine. So this connection is not fully working, and I can see through this window, I think I can see part of the broken mechanism that is in here. So I think there's a broken part in there, and we are getting closer and closer to solving the issue of this machine. Yeah, we will end up disassembling this top part here. Yeah, it's very hard to avoid it. So I need to study the best way to unsolder all these wires and see what else we can do to this mechanism. What a pain in the ass. I thought that the camera was recording, but it was not. But after desoldering these wires on the top, I'm starting to disassemble this mechanism. It's half loose now, and there were 3 screws, a smaller one, a middle-sized one, and a bigger one. And I'm trying to loosen this, but there's a spring held down diagonally, and I'm trying to find a way to take this thing out, and in a way that I can put it back together. So let's continue. Well, I can see that that spring that's diagonally there, it's loose. So it might be related to our problem. but it's really hard to see. I should be doing this under the microscope, because this is not something easy to see from this distance. I'll switch to a closer view in the microscope and I'll show you what is that I'm talking about. So I've found the reason why this part doesn't come out. There is this white gear. It's stuck or glued or something to the white gear that is down here, as you can see. So they are one piece or as one piece, so they both spin together, and this is preventing the machine from being disassembled. But I think there's a way to separate them, but this is very old and brittle plastic and I'm a little afraid to break it. Yep, it came right off because I used the big black part to pull this up. So our white gear is free now. So now we can pull up this whole mechanism and see what's going on underneath. Let's see if we can find some broken stuff. This is the underside of it, and as you can see, there's our lost spring that was living in here without doing anything. So, Mrs. Spring, when you're part of a machine, you have to do your function. Yeah, let's get back to work. So after looking at the underside of this mechanism, we can now identify what could be a possible position for the spring. So here is one of the catches that should pull this mechanism all up, and here is the broken part that I probably found when opening up the machine. Yeah, probably this broken part is from here, and we will have, let me adjust the lighting. Yeah, now it's easier to see. So here was where the big spring was pushing this mechanism back, but those would be two springs fighting against each other. But now I want to focus in how the hell I'm going to get a strong part in here to hold the spring. Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge. First, I want to see if I can identify what is the position of this. So I think this was the original position. I think they match. Yeah, and this was the original position of this spring clip. And now we need to find a way to fix the spring between that and that. And that's a spring that I think it pulls a lot. So yeah, that spring, as you can see, that spring would pull very strongly. Yeah, and this is the latch, the small latch that's operated by the film door, the back door of the camera, and that when you open up the camera, it knows the door is open and it rewinds the counter, and I think it prevents the motor from starting to unwind film while the camera is open, so something like that. But now we should focus on how are we going to revive this. There's a small piece of plastic coming out. The only thing I can think of is screwing a hole in here and try to put a screw, but I don't know if it's going to be feasible. I need a break. I'm going to think about it, I'm going to investigate, and I'll be right back. I'll need to make a hole with a drill, the hole for this thread, and I can't leave too much plastic for the groove to screw in, because it will start to spread the plastic apart. So I need to select a drill that has almost the same diameter as the outer part of the thread of the screw, and then the screw will fit in, smashing very little plastic, and it will make the connection between the parts more safe. And I will obviously fix everything with epoxy glue in order to give it strength and to keep the screw from unscrewing itself. I'll try to open the hole by hand. It will take a long time, but I think it's the safest way to do this. Of course, we only have one shot, so let's try. So the screw has 1.9 millimeters, 1.8, yeah, this drill is going to be okay. Another difficult thing to do is to select the right spot to drill for the screw to be threaded. So we can't do it too close to this edge or it will break, and we can't do it too close to the inside or we will not have the correct tension on the spring. So I think I will try to make it right by this place, more or less in here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is use a different tip on the soldering iron, like this one, and try to make a starting point for the drill to start penetrating the plastic part. So, wish me luck. Of course, it will be hard to show you on the microscope. Let me try. Okay. Okay, I think we have a good starting point. So, this is our starting point to start drilling a hole. Let's try to do it this way. This is going to take an eternity. So as you can see, there is a little space between the screw position and the limits of the part, and this will be very easy to break if you use any kind of violence to do it. So let's keep doing it smoothly. It looks like our screw will fit there, and I think it will hold the spring correctly. I hope it will do it. Yeah, our hole is getting deeper and deeper, so I think we are almost getting to the underside. Let's see if we can do the whole way through. I just hope this doesn't get too wide for the screw to get in. Let me check. Let me recheck again. Yep, it looks like the screw is getting in a bit too easily. And it's going to be held just by the plastic and some glue, probably. Well, we just need to dig a little deeper, and I prefer it this way than having a cracked plastic part. We are through. We can see it on the other side, that we have gone through the whole plastic part. That's another thing that we're going to be very careful with, because now the glue can go to the underside and lock all the mechanism. So we will now need to be extra careful. So I'll get a surgical blade and try to clean it from the underside to make the burrs of this cut go away. So yeah, we have a clean cut and we have our hole. We can see the metal part down there. So this screw needs to be inserted from this side, and it will go down to the bottom. Yep, there you can see it. And we need to insert it with our spring in there. You can see how close the clearance for all the parts is. So yeah, this was the exact size of screw that we could use. We couldn't use a bigger one. So we are going to now remove it. I'll probably use epoxy instead of super glue, because super glue is a bit fragile for this. Now you can see the distance between the hole and the spring, but I will not be tensioning it right now, okay? I will be using the spring just with a screw. I will screw the spring in place, and then after everything is well dried and secure is the moment of truth, where we'll be pulling this spring and holding it in this hook, okay? But we will only be able to do that after this is glued and well cured. So let's prepare the epoxy and let's screw this in and see if we can save this mechanism. Let's mix it and apply it. Let's just put epoxy on the screw. So let's put the screw on the spring and then fit it in there. So let's see if we can put it down. I think this is fine. So I will be applying a little bit more of epoxy on the screw and on the spring. I know that this will probably lock the spring to this position, but I don't think that will be negative for its function. I just want to drop a good drop of glue on this side of the screw for it to go in there deeply and put a bit more strength on holding it. So I'm doing this in a very weird way, but I'm going to clean it and send the glue down here. So on the back everything looks glued too. Yeah, now it's not looking so pretty as it was before, but I think it will work. Yeah, I was half asleep because I could do it in an easier way to put glue on the screw. So I could come here to the spring, pull it out, and now I will make fresh glue and I will put it in there. This epoxy dries crazily fast, so I need to be quick when doing these things. So let's wait. So now some time has passed and I think we can go for the moment of truth. It is reassembling everything. So as you can see, our spring is secured to the screw, and let's see if this thing is sturdy enough to hold this mechanism in place. So I'll pull it to its final position and we will see how well it holds. So now it is there, and now we will have another spring in here. So if we use the whole mechanism, it seems to hold. We can only call it a success if the machine works, but for now it's staying in place. Let's just put this other spring that we removed. So here we have our spring assembly. It seems to be working fine. So if it winds up the roll, our machine will be fixed and we'll wrap things up. Let's reassemble. Yep, it looks like it will work. The door closes and the mechanism goes into place. Here on the microscope, that's the important bit. Our contacts there go to the correct position when we close the door. You see, that's what was missing, and that was the cause of the film not being pulled forward. So let me focus better and give it a bit more lighting. Yep, you can see those contacts are now going into the correct position. So I think we are good to go. And there, as you can see, is our fixed part. So let's reassemble the rest. Wow, look at that. Very satisfying mechanism. Yes. Now I can give this to my cats for them to play. Let's see. Yep, counter goes back to S, and it's just a matter of soldering the wires and rearranging everything. Then we can test it. So I've soldered all the wires back, and I think everything is ready for testing. Wish me luck. Moment of truth, everyone. Negative. Positive. Nothing is shorting or something. Oops, okay, it's temporized, I forgot that. Our LED will start flashing, and it doesn't pull. It's rewinding the film. Okay, we might need that mechanism on the underside. So I'll reassemble that mechanism. If I put this in here, so let's check. Okay, it went downwards. I think it pulled the film to the front. Let's see if it's ready to shoot. Yeah, it shooted. Now we will wait for the LED to flash and shoot. Yes! It pulled forward! Yeah, something was not working because of that bottom end system to rewind the roll. It will shoot. Yes! It's working! Yes! I knew it. It could only be that spring. That was the only thing that was wrong there. But of course it could be any transistor or anything else. But what a relief! Yeah, this is it. Shoot, pulls the roll forward. Awesome. Let's see it from the mechanism side of things. Yes! It's working! Ah, that's a relief. Yeah, it's working and it's counting. Jesus. I don't know if it's counting correctly. That's another thing I have to check. But if I pull out, it comes back to 0. Yeah, and it's pulling the roll out. Ah, I'm much more relieved now. Yes, it's working. Let's reassemble it. Finally, the capacitor is fixed and not rattling around. Now I can pop in some batteries and test if the rewind function is working. So let's do it. This enters first, this will go next. Let's see. Yep. Roll is being pulled back. Let's see if the batteries won't die. It works. There's a little indentation in here to clip on this top part. Let's open up the battery compartment. This slides in. These wires should come here to the left. Yep, and everything closes perfectly. Yeah, even the roll counter is looking good. Last screw. And the machine is done. Let's clean some details. Use some harder brush and clean some parts that are a bit dusty. And look at that. It looks beautiful. This mechanism is so satisfying. So let's put some good new batteries in and test the machine. I'll just keep using gloves not to fill the machine with my fingerprint. There's a little hair. Yep, it does this every time it pulls from a new roll. It goes to the first position. Yeah, and we shoot. And the roll advances. You can see here the counter is working perfectly. Yes! And you can even see the shutter working, can't you? Awesome. Let's block the light and see if the flash pops up. Yes, it pops. Let's shoot a picture with flash. Flash is charged. You can see the red light is on, and then I'm sorry to blind you, but yeah, this is very nice. As soon as you see the red light coming on, you shoot, the flash goes on and the roll is pulled forward. You open the film container and the counter comes back to S, and everything is working perfectly. This camera is completely functional and I'm very, very happy with this repair. I don't think the distance or focus detector is working, because it's on the viewfinder, it always goes to landscape mode. Well, it looks like the autofocus function is not working, and that's something really hard to show, because there's a needle in the bottom of this viewfinder, and I don't know if you can see the needle moving, but it always goes to the leftmost position, that is infinity or infinite focus, that is for landscapes or something. To focus on objects on a foreground or something closer to the camera, the pointer should detect the position of the object relatively to the camera, and should fix the focus on the correct position. So I think these sensors are not detecting the correct focus distance, and I'll try to address that issue. So let's take it apart again. So I'm sad to conclude that this autofocus mechanism is still not working, and there's nothing I can do about it. I've tried tweaking the pot that's on the autofocus board. I tried taking components out and measure them, and I couldn't find anything that would work fixing it. So this is a half successful repair because I've just fixed the mechanism for pulling the film forward. So it's sad for me to say, but yeah, this machine is not completely fixed. Flash works, as you can see. It shoots and it rewinds. If I want to rewind the film, I can pull back and press the button and everything is mechanically working, but the autofocus mechanism is dead. So this concludes our video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I can fix something fully on the next time. Bye bye.